Hi YouTubers, I just saw Wonder Woman. It came out today, 1st of June. I took my niece, Summer, to see it, and she's 12 and she absolutely loved it. So it's, oh my god, it's brilliant. Okay, no, there's got a few flaws I'm going to explore, but it's 76 years we've waited for a Wonder Woman film. 76 years, I mean, come on. I mean, Patty Jenkins, the director, so I've got a cast list in front of me here, okay, is it Patty Jenkins? Patty Jenkins, the director, really pulled this one out. It's a very interesting film because it's what it does but what it doesn't do. So let's quickly just kind of give you a gist of the plot. Diana, or Princess of Themyscira, daughter of Hippolyta and Zeus, essentially she's raised at her own insistence, by the way, and by her aunt, General Antolope, okay, to become a warrior, and her mother eventually relents, that's Hippolyta, and eventually relents, and she's trained, and she trains harder and better than anyone else, and she taps into like a hidden power, and yeah, and eventually though, essentially she's a warrior but with no battle she's ever really fought in, and her mum is very overprotective of her, very overprotective, because she's the only girl. Because, okay, I'm going to say this right now, I always found this very hypocritical of Hippolyta. I mean, at the end of the day, okay, she had a daughter, no one else did. All these warriors, all these women, but there's no battles to be fought. And one thing I did notice, okay, is, okay, this is part of the hypocrisy, is Diana's a genius. They all are. They can speak virtually every single language. They know about all these cultures. They speak great English, even though I'm going to get that to her English translation thing. However, you don't see them making anything of their own. Now, you see that, obviously, architecture, but you sit there thinking, so all they do is train to be warriors. Where's the art? Where's the culture? Where's that? It's Themyscira feels so goddamn boring. I go crazy. Okay, I'm not expecting mod cons, but I'm expecting they have their own kind of particular art and culture. Not we're Amazons. That's all we are. I mean, come on, that'd be a little bit boring. So anyway, okay, Dennis trained to be a warrior, and eventually the spy, Steve Trevor, comes in, followed by the German, because it's World War One. Dana saves him, and I love this scene, okay? The Kaiser, the Germans show up, and there's this massive battlefield on the beach. Steve is injured, his plane comes down, okay? The Germans don't even react. I did notice it. I don't seem to be even reacting that much. They were fighting women. It was just a really nice touch. They didn't care they were fighting women. They were still going for it. The Amazons have the arrows, the Germans have their guns, and there was no like, I can't fight you, you're a woman. They were just going for it. I just thought that was a nice touch. You know, that's just me. Okay, I didn't care. Warrior is a warrior no matter what, after all. So, Steve is the only one left alive. Then he explains about the war to end all wars, and essentially Diana comes to this conclusion that it's Ares. Ares, who is told in a flashback, okay? Oh, this entire film is done through flashback. With Diana finally getting a hold of that picture, the original copy of her with her little band of howling commandos, posing for it. That was her motivation in Batman vs Superman. And she comes to the conclusion that it's Ares, who, okay, I don't know much about my Greek mythology as I remember, but as memory serves, Zeus created the humans, and then Ares went down and basically made them all twisted and nasty, and there was battles, and Zeus and Ares fought. But I just had to think, hold on, didn't the Titans make the humans? That's what I remember from my Greek mythology. I might have to look that up later. Okay, so Diana comes to this conclusion that this is all done through Ares. It's this kind of leap in logic that mankind has become bad over the millennia, okay, that Themyscira has not been involved because of Ares. And now she decides to leave Themyscira with Steve to track down Ares and basically stop the war to end all wars. Now, one thing I did kind of like is there's two things coming in quite. One is this, okay? Now, Diana has spent her entire life, okay, and this is like over like a couple of millennia, okay, on Themyscira. She doesn't age as fast as everyone else, okay? Maybe she does. Yet, she can speak every single language, including apparently English. Which, if you read historical texts, English evolved over time, but hey. But one thing they kind of translate that into, when you first meet her speaking English, okay, or speaking English to Steve, it's very kind of stilted. It's kind of, she's like translating it in her head. Yet further on, it becomes a bit more fluid, a bit more natural. It's kind of her way of explaining the whole kind of language issue, Okay, so yeah, so she leaves with Steve Trevor, played by Chris Pine, who did a fantastic job. A bit upset when he was cast because I knew how this would end, and I would begin to some spoilers here. But because I did read it, he was going to be cast as Hal Jordan, who was Green Lantern, so I was a little bit upset about that. But needs must. Okay, so they leave and they go to London. Oh, Steve's got hold of this book. Okay, God, it's difficult to try and explain this plot. Okay, so just as it is now, okay, Steve has this book. Okay, he's got to get to London because there is a like a doctor called Dr. Poison. Alright, so I've been at my laptop there here to get everyone's name. Alright, and she basically is inventing weapons, bioweapons that can pretty much melt gas masks and basically destroy people and kill people. I actually like the fact, okay, that the villain, or one of the main villains, is a woman. I mean, the one thing with this, people will like scream about this film, okay, sexism and misogyny. I give Patty Jenkins her dues. The sexism would have to be there because it's current for the time. This is a time women didn't have the vote after all, so you can't really expect everyone to be kind of open and fantastic. Oh, look, there's a woman. No, no. It was really kind of played down. It was in a couple of scenes, but it wasn't really kind of that focused on. You know, it's kind of downplayed, which I thought was a nice touch. Okay. But, so they go to London, they bring this book, which Steve has stolen from Dr. Poison, okay? And Dana meets London City and the culture, and yeah, and she basically is disgusted by London. Well, she grew up on a paradise island, and you don't insult my city, thank you very much. But anyway, so also coming at this point is Etta Candy, who I was a bit dismissive of, played by Lucy Davis. Nothing against Lucy Davis, and of course not. Never against her. But Etta was a little bit obnoxious, I found, and okay, fine. When you say to someone who's working as a spy, who basically puts his life like literally on the line, I do whatever he tells me to do, like get like his dry cleaning. I'm like, yeah, honey, your life ain't that bad. Okay, you weren't. Your life wasn't that bad. Your job's really not bad. And she seems to kind of, maybe this is intentional, but she kind of downplays her own abilities. Further on, when Steve puts her in charge of a very important mission, just, you know, she's like, oh, really? Oh, me? Oh my God. And I'm like, oh, fuck, Etta Grove here. But she has some really good comic timing, some nice comedy moments. I mean, she seems to be someone who works very, very well with Steve prior to this. Like, relationship feels very, very natural, okay? So I'm not hating on that. She gets some really, really funny lines as well. And so I'm not knocking Lucy Davis. I generally liked her performance as Etta Candy. It's just the character of Etta Candy that kind of winds me up. But anyway, Etta Candy out the way. And there's this really, really crucial scene, okay? Now, the thing is with Dana has this naivety. She can rip your head off and shove it up your ass, but she has this natural kind of naivety of never being around this kind of politics, the world, and she's so naive with it, but it kind of gives an element of optimism in a way. There's this really kind of beautiful scene where like these generals who are trying to sort out the armistice in Parliament, and they're sitting around basically saying, okay, these soldiers may die, but they're like, was the soldiers, and Diana calls them out on their bullshit straight away, and it's not what it's said, but it's how it's delivered. She just says, where I'm from, we wouldn't treat our soldiers like that, we wouldn't treat anyone like that. And you can see it in their eyes, it's quite subtle, but her words, you can see in their eyes how they no, not dismissive, they're kind of, they've lost their optimism and she's kind of got it back to them. So it's kind of underplayed in a way, but it's really, really well done. So yeah, there's some really good scenes. Now, so obviously this is where the main plot really kicks in, okay? They gave the book to Parliament, they're deciphering it. Diana can decipher because she speaks like every single known language, God knows how, but hey, she does. And then they turn around again and say, now this is the actor I'm bringing in right now, okay? David Tellis, okay? Now he is a fantastic, fantastic actor. He's been in a lot over the years. He was in The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas, he was in Dragonheart, and he is a really, really top actor. Absolutely love his work. So, now, he's typically British, okay, but he's very, very general savvy. He's like, you know, we can't authorise you to go on this mission and behind enemy lines, but here's some money for it. You know, yes. Anyway, I'm not going to go into spoilers about David Trellis, but he is, God, he's good. Okay, you need British actors, British baddie actors. You got a bit spoiled there. Okay, so anyway, so back to Wonder Woman. So it's Wonder Woman with a band of little Howling Commandos, by Sayid Tagamura as Samir. Ewan Brenner as Charlie. Now, Ewan Brenner is also Spud in the Trainspotting films, okay? And Eugene Brave-Rock as Chief. So basically, she has a little band of Howling Commandos behind enemy lines, and this is the moment. Now, one thing I loved about the Wonder Woman costume is that till this point, you don't see it. She's under a cloak. She hides it from view. She basically steals everything from Themyscira and puts a cloak on, a fur cloak. You don't see it until this moment. It's the build-up. She doesn't just walk onto a battlefield, it's her revelation. Now, one thing about this film is this, the colour palette is very similar to Captain America. It's kind of subdued, okay? It has to be. Any film set in this time is normally subdued. It's just a colour palette. But this is where the film comes to life. It's not just, okay, the costume. It's kind of, the colours give it a bit more like a, I say like a magical, like supernatural edge. It is, oh, the costume. Oh, this is the moment we waited like 76 years to see. This is how long it's taken to get Wonder Woman film out there. So, oh, the big reveal on the battlefield, her look, her confidence. You hear the... So... I loved. I just shouting out just that moment again. I practically felt like cheering. It was the moment you wait a long time to see, and she nailed it. Okay, so there's a few storylines going in like at the same time, which is quite interesting because it's a flashback point of view. Normally, films which have flashbacks, it's normally just seen from one person's point of view. But this time, okay, you see, here we are, General Eric Ludendorff. And obviously Dr. Mario or Dr. Poison. You see from what they're up to, and basically how they don't want an armistice or peace. They just basically want to continue the war and take over, and you know they want the Germans to do what they would eventually do like 20 odd years later. So anyway, but not a hill there. But anyway, okay, so there's a bit kind of, I'm thinking, this is a flashback, why would you even know this? But you do. But now comes to the point where they have to infiltrate a party. They have to take them all down, and then, keeping with the Greek mythology, one of the cast members is Ares, and I am not telling you who it is. I am not telling you who Ares is. You're going to see this for yourself, okay? But since Ares get a mention, you know, there's a bit of a... And Miriam's are sitting there thinking, okay, who do you reckon is Ares? Because when you mention a villain, the villain's got to come in there somewhere. And we didn't see that one coming. One thing I did like, though, okay, is this. Now, it parallels to Captain America, Inevitable with this. As I said before, similar colour palette, similar kind of storylines, set in wars, about character development and growth, and become more than what you are. But this is where it gets interesting. Now, Steve, obviously, he was frozen in ice, but he woke up. And even though he was emotionally broken, he still kind of kept his optimism. Diana does not. Diana is emotionally ruined by this. Which, you sit there thinking, yeah, you're a hardcore, badass Amazon who could rip someone's head off. But, hey, you're still a woman. So, and, sorry, not just a woman again, but you're still a woman. You're still got that humane part of you, okay? And yeah, so it leaves her emotionally distraught, so she disappears for almost 100 years. I mean, which I personally think is a bit of a cop-out move because, hey, you're Wonder Woman, but hey, but she's told by her mother she can never return to Themyscira. So I like the fact, okay, that with Captain America kept his optimism, okay, but with Diana, she was so kind of out of her depth because when you're raised to be a warrior, at this point, I don't think she was taught really about the emotions of war. Everyone before her had fought in battles and they tried to explain the reality of war. And during that original Battle on the Beach of Themyscira, you see strands of it. But the thing is, war is hell. It's devastating. It's emotionally devastating. And to me, Diana really grows as a character when she loses the people that, you know, it's quite funny, okay, you know, the daughter of Apollo and Zeus actually becomes a human when she realizes, you know, she may stand there and talk about the value of human life, but she's never ever lost anyone of human life until a certain point. Oh, this was pretty much inevitable. Now, Gal Gadot, being a soldier, she said in the Israeli army, she was born to play Wonder Woman. She is fit, she is sleek, she is amazing, and She actually filmed some scenes while she was pregnant, but, you know, she just got on with it. She's got that beautiful, natural attitude, stubbornness of Wonder Woman. So I absolutely loved her for that. I mean, this is the Wonder Woman film we waited a very, very long time to see. It ties in nicely with the DC universe. It ties in quite nicely with Batman vs Superman, but there's a little bit of confusion, okay? Because because there's a bit regarding her sword. Oh, of all the weapons, okay, there's the Steel of Truth, there's the bracelets and bullets thing, okay? And there's also this sword. I'm not going to spoil this because it's not confirmed to me. Something happens to this sword, but I swear to God it was the sword she was using in Batman vs Superman. But I may need to be clarified on that. Just point that out. So, now everyone made a big deal, okay, the fact is the director's a woman, big deal, okay, the director's a woman, but director Patty Jenkins did a fantastic job, okay. So, and I think after Batman, she understood the subject material and she just took it seriously. Now, one thing that this film, so I'm just lost my foot, got bad foot. One film that this film has problems with, okay, so you don't film was perfect, okay, is the pacing. Now, telling an origin story of an established character or trying to bring in a character, basically explore who they are before a certain event like Justice League, okay? That's actually quite difficult because you need to go on the mythology that's accepted of like the franchise, if you will, and there's 76 years of history to get through. But you also have to try and like play it in an original way. Now on Themyscira, the scenes, they seem to kind of go on a little bit too long. I mean, trying to explore Wonder Woman's kind of background, the fact is her mother doesn't want her to fight, her mother wants to protect her, her aunt wants her to fight because she knows the reality of the situation. But at the same time, I wanted to see more of the kind of the world of Themyscira. And okay, I'm going to say this right now. People train Diana and seem to like, willing to help her because they're projecting their desires on her because obviously, she's in a position which they were all denied, and that can't be ignored right now. I mean, I was chatting to this with my niece, and I said to her about what I'm basically saying to you. I said, "How long would you last on Themyscira? I'll be out of there quite quickly. I wouldn't be able to deal. No culture of your own that we see, no art, no music. There was no music. All they do is train. They're to quote an animated film, okay." From another character, obviously, the animated Wonder Woman. We're warriors, but we're women too. That's important. And also, maybe it's just me, but as it's a Wonder Woman film, I mean, I like the fact, okay, that characters grow and become emotionally jaded, but eventually return in a way to who they are before. I mean, Captain America lost everything, but he still kind of kept his optimism because he's Captain America. Batman lost everything, but he's still Batman. Superman is still Superman. With this, I just sat there thinking, but you lost. Yeah, you won the war, but you lost this battle. You lost this, and you retreated. You kind of run away. And okay, it's a spoiler territory now. When Diana says at the end, I stayed and I protected. Where you been to protect? Seriously, where have you been? For all the wars, for everything that's been on, where have you been? That's a big question right now. So, yeah, but for all the faults and flaws, it's not perfect. No film ever is. 76 years for Wonder Woman film. This has been worth the wait because Gal Gadot and Chris Pine have a fantastic chemistry. With Chris Pine, it's bringing some bit of Steve Trevor because he's like obviously the male counterpart here. He is a great actor because he can do silent. He can do with looks instead of dialogue. Some bits are very, very underplayed, and he did a fantastic job as Steve. I have absolutely no faults with his performance. To me, he was absolutely flawless. And there's one scene coming up where he has to psych himself up to do something. I'm not going to spoil that scene. He has to psych himself up to do something. He doesn't want to. That's the thing. We're so used to our heroes going in there on a whim, but when you see character, reluctant to do it. It's actually quite beautiful moment. Chris Pine's an awesome actor. I love him in Star Trek. So that is just my opinion. Gal Gadot was born to play Wonder Woman. Athletic, slick, beautiful. Even though I do insult Hippolyta, Connie Nielsen has Hippolyta. Did a great job. Robin Wright as General Antiope was brilliant. Once again, very, very understated. And David Twellis was also awesome. Okay? So, absolutely no complaints. Oh, and one thing that did impress me is doing films set in war times is quite difficult regarding props. I've seen a lot of films and documentaries set during the First World War. I couldn't see anything wrong with any of the plots or sets. They all looked authentic to the time period. So whoever did both the costuming, the prop design, and the setting and the scenes, brilliant. So, anyway, thanks for watching, YouTubers. Sign off and take care. Bye now.